watch, because we had a problem just recently with the pool room. Now, Sunday, when I came up here, I saw toilet paper in the parking lot, drawn around. And that didn't come from us.
Okay. Well, we'll just have, have facilities go out there and check the parking lots. As a rule, they're not very messy, these outside events.
And the second point is, you chase everybody out. Now the bar is open, and there's people that want to watch the sports and the games Saturday and Sunday. The next 3 weddings, are you going to close it, period, or you're going to allow them to watch the game?
I'm not sure. I don't know the size of the wedding. As I was stating earlier, the smaller weddings, they do the entire wedding in the pack. So there's no need to close the restaurant and our bar to our residents. So as I stated earlier, we're going to make a more of an effort to that when that is a smaller wedding and it is completely in the pack, then we're going to keep the restaurant for lunch and the bar open for the residents to watch football or do whatever they want to do. But I can't tell you right now because I haven't got the 3 weddings in front of me. I don't know the sizes of them. If it's 150 or 200 people, then yes, the bar and restaurant will be closed.
Okay.
Our efforts at waste paper, junk mail, cardboard, recycling have been great. To my pleasant surprise, we get about 6 or 8 pounds of stuff at a time. My problem is, about half the time I come up here, there's nowhere to put it because the dumpster's full. And I'm afraid if this happens to a lot of folks, they're going to stop saving it and start throwing it back out in the trash. So I have 3 suggestions. Arrange for more frequent pickups, get a bigger dumpster, or get 2 dumpsters.
Okay, I talked to the company today, Gary Wind and I did. They cannot do a frequent, they only pick up on Tuesdays, just the way their routes run, so we've asked for an additional dumpster. And so hopefully that'll happen. I was down there this morning, Val Page and I, one of our board members and I, and Kevin were on another project, and we got directed down there and saw it for ourselves. So yeah, that definitely needs to be done with. It is very popular, but the problem is we can't have it. The other thing, the people that are using that, they're not collapsing their boxes. That's the biggest problem with that dumpster right now, is there's boxes in there that haven't been collapsed. So if all the boxes in that dumpster were collapsed, it wouldn't look like it looks now. It probably even have some room in it. So that's the biggest problem we're having, is to just take and throw boxes in there without collapsing. Yes, sir?
Getting back to Susan, please.
Oh.
Getting back to the stucco. When I look at the retaining wall from my house, it's a different color than the clubhouse. Is that going to stay that color? What color is the clubhouse going to be?
The clubhouse is going to be the color of the current wall, the pin wall, the yellowish color.
You're kidding.
Yeah, no, I just did that as a joke. We're actually going to paint it purple.
It's about as bad as what it is. White is much more stately.
Yeah, you'll see with the compliments of new pool deck and pool furniture and the outside, it's there's a trim color too that's not up there yet. Anything else? Any questions for the board? Well, thanks. We'll see you all at the board meeting at 1:30. Again, we'll be doing the management's presentation at 1:30. 1:30 on Wednesday. We'll be doing management's presentation first, then taking a break. I will get the agenda corrected, and then come back to the board meeting to approve the number of issues. I think there's like 16 issues on the agenda. Yeah.
This is addressed to the board.
What's your question?
Okay. I'm asking the board to answer this question because I'm a bit confused as to where we're going with all this. Okay, we had a survey, and according to the survey, we had a small percentage of what we're discussing now about the restaurant. What I would like to know, where is the board going to go with this if they try to implement a sub-charge just to eat up here to keep the restaurant running?
Just real quick, I guess you came in late. I did address that. Management's recommendation on the food and beverage minimum is that we do not do it. That we lose money on restaurant dining, resident restaurant dining loses money. So if we, in management's opinion, if we put a minimum here, all we're gonna do is force people against their will to come up here. We do not have the restaurant space or the kitchen space to feed 2,200 people a month. Number one, but number two, we feel it's gonna increase the loss, not make things better, it's gonna make it worse. There is a loss. We break even by funding with the assessment, but it's gonna make the assessment, then let's put it this way. It's not a profit center, it's not a loss. The funding's gonna go up, okay? Because it's what I told you before, Italian night, the cost of goods the cost for Italian night is 126%. But we do it for you because that's what you want, and it's popular, and we can do it. And again, this will be the third year in a row that management's not looking for an assessment increase. Yeah, we lose 26%. Yeah, there is no net, it doesn't break even. Neither does fajita night, none of the specialty nights break even. They're all lose money. Because of the pricing. You can't put $9.95 and do hand-cooked pastas with a huge buffet and make money. It just can't. Everyone says Italian food is cheap, but it's not that cheap.
I was fortunate enough to be in the focus group for food and beverage, and during our meeting, the consultants made a statement to us, and I don't know if it was included in the final report, if not, it should have been. And given the type of restaurant we run, the hours that we open it, the size of our community, that you can never expect that operation to make money. And so I think that's something we've got to get across to the residents, that it's there in part as a service to the people who live here.
That's right.
We should enjoy it and look at it exactly that way.
That's very well said. What he said is that the consultants told the focus group that it is an amenity, and our pricing is where it is to benefit our residents who pay the assessment that fund the amenity. So as long as, again, as we don't have to increase the assessment, we are better, and I'm going to have a slide that's going to go up, we are 50% better than all of the other CERTs and CERAs in Florida. We run better than all the other CERAs in Florida. So it's working well here at Heritage Pines.
Translate that word, Sears?
CERA, it's Community Interest Realty Association, Community Association. That's essentially what that means. Any other questions?
My second question is to the board again. What are we doing about the golf course? How are you going to assess how much should be spent, and where is the money going to come from?
You've asked the board, but Bill has already answered the question.
I wasn't here.
Okay, and that's good. The presentation on Wednesday will address the pricing and the plan for the golf course. And we're just not prepared right now to start that conversation and information out until Wednesday's meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I just wondered where the security cameras are going that we purchased earlier.
Well, one's right on the way to your house. One's in a tree right behind your house. No, they're, I can joke about it. We added security cameras to the front gate because of the people that are crashing the gate coming in and not denying they did it. Another person just did it Saturday and cussed out the guard. And they're in the circular drive. I don't know if you remember, about a year and a half ago, we had a problem for about a 45-day period where 6 drivers were stolen out of carts in the front. So we put them there. We've not put them in the back because we've never had any issues back there. We were going to put one on the bar. Obviously, it's good we didn't because we moved it. So we're not going to put one in the bar. The main reason we were going to put it in the bar is because the liquor's never been locked up. And all we do is turn off the bar tap so you can't get drafted. Anybody that wanted could go back there and pour themselves a shot or drink out of a bottle or whatever. We've never had a problem with that. But now you have about 24 hours to get that shot because it's going to all be locked up tomorrow. Any more questions?
How much is the surplus usually run at the end of the year?
This year we're over 200,000 right now. Kevin, Crystal, and I anticipate that to be better than that. We are again, this month, we're again better than budget again. But we're getting somewhat of a windfall now. The reclaimed water, Pasco's got so much of it that they sent us a letter 2 months ago stating that we can run as much as we want, they're not going to charge us anything. So in a summer month, we used to spend $21,000 on reclaimed water, so it's saving a significant amount of money. So, but yeah, we're in a very good year. We're having a good year, but it's good because we needed to pay for this project, and it appears that there's a good chance that most of it's going to be paid for this year, this current expansion project.
Well, can we use the surplus to make up the difference in the food and beverage?
We do.
And go.
No, your assessment, just so you know, yes, the assessment does that.
Okay, but why do we still have to have weddings?
Well, it will go up approximately 50,000, and you can't use the surplus for that purpose. You have to raise the assessment. Approximately $5 a month for every household in here.
She's saying,
You're saying $5.
Yeah, you can't use it for operating loss or to fund an amendment. That's what the assessment's for,
okay, so it goes over and where's it go?
operating cash. Then we can spend it on capital projects, we can spend it on other things, but you can't fund an operating department with it. Any further questions? All right, thank you.
Just one. Since we got all this extra money, when we're gonna put the bathrooms in it, is this all been figured in for all the improvements of the clubhouse? I'm assuming over the next year or 2 years. Are you gonna be able to cover it all, or are we gonna have more assessments?
There won't be a special assessment, we can assure you of that. That being said, there's a project, in this current project, we feel it's definitely fully funded. Reserve is funding a great deal of it. The capital portion is fully funded. We have the operating cash to cover it if we don't cover it this year. There's a project there's two projects. There's one out front, expanding the front of the clubhouse. We're already having trouble with Pasco County. They said something about, they asked for 11 bathrooms when we did this project, which is completely ridiculous. Now they think because if we try to bump this out, we met with him once, he told our project manager, send me the plan so I can disapprove it. So they're not playing nice at all. So we think they're going to go after the 5 bathrooms when we try to bump the clubhouse out for office space and a boardroom. If that's the case, it's going to kill that project because it'll take at least a third of the space for more bathrooms, which is completely ridiculous. We are looking at some other alternatives though. And then there's another capital project that Janice and I in particular are looking at over the next few years, and that is the back part of the pool on this side of the bathrooms. We're looking at closing that in so we can put the cart return there instead of down in the parking lot like a normal country club. And also, the other reason is we wanted to put a canopy over it, so when you got your grandchildren are down here, your children, there's a place to get the kids and the families and you all out of the sun. If you feel like going to the pool but you don't feel like sitting in the sun all day, there'd be a covered area with ceiling fans over there, maybe a misting system like they do in Arizona, and that would be what we do with the top part of that. We would make it a shaded area at the pool with more chairs and places to sit. Thank you.